Good afternoon. Hello. Happy Friday. I'm looking forward to getting this assessment done. And potentially I was thinking about running through it as a video lesson too. I think that would be a good idea. So let's take a look at what we can. Let's take a look at where we are. Okay, so last I left off, we had, we were writing the article there. Okay, so we created a list here. That's not where I am. Okay, so we have our .env example. We have a .env here. We have our check seeds. Let's see. So seeds, we've done seeds. I think then, oh, we did library. So that means all that's left is cleaning up authors and books. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm thinking about keeping the signatures of these functions because then it will be the most compatible with the tests. So because of that, we can keep author ID like this. And we can say, okay, for create author, insert an author into the database and return the newly created ID. The newly created author ID. I mean, so that's pretty simple. So I should be able to do something like this. And I'll replace that with a to-do. Retrieve a single author. Okay, retrieve a single author from the database and return it. We don't care about their books yet. So this will just be an object this will just be an object that has the author ID and the name. Since it's possible that the ID doesn't exist in the database, return an option. Return an options that returning none if the author cannot be found. Get all authors. All right, so retrieve all of the authors. Okay, so then delete you. Update author. Let's see. Okay, so for update author, oh, you know what I should be doing? I should also underscore all of these too. I'll go back through later and handle all the warnings. Okay, so because we only have the name, so simple author, name and T. Take in the name. So I don't think I need to say all that. I think we could just say like update the author's name. So update the author's name in the database. And I don't think I need to return anything. Permanently delete the author from the database. I mean, there's not really much to say for these. Okay, this is going to be the more interesting one. Create an author, a book, and associate them together all at the same time. All right, what do I want to say for this one? This is a bulk. Okay, so this is a bulk event operation. There's a bulk operation. Ensure that if any of the commands fail, that then the database will not be changed. Oh, and we have to say what we're going to return. Return the return a tuple with the author ID and book ID that are created. Okay, so when returning all of the authors together, implement a hash map as provided here, or a or really any kind of math, or any other maps. For example, a B tree map. Steven, hello. How are you doing today? I can try to give advice. Can't guarantee that it'll be good though. When return all the authors together, implement a hash map as provided here or any other maps. For example, a B tree map if you want to ensure the order of the authors in the map. So at work, you're kind of being threatened of being fired if you don't do more work. You're already working weekends and you feel like you're good at your job. So this is, I wish I could say that there's an easy way to get through something like this, but unfortunately, it's really going to come down to um, crucial conversations is the name of the thing that you're going to need to do. So I would assume, but correct me if I'm wrong, that you're not necessarily feeling the best relationship with your boss, especially if you're feeling like you're being like threatened, either directly or sort of like through intonations. Your manager hates you. Yeah. So the problem here is that you don't have a good relationship with your manager. Uh, your I guess like okay, so if we go through the facts, your manager, uh, your relationship with your manager is strained or just outright hostile. You have a good relationship with your team members. You're overworking. If there's any bad feedback, he'll laser focus on that and dismiss everything else. Do you notice him doing this with any other members of the team, or is it just you? He used to do it to another team member. Did he fire that team member eventually? You know, of two other team members who want to switch managers. Yeah, so yeah, this is a really rough situation. So basically, if you wanted to try to fix it as it is right now, it's gonna take basically um it's gonna cost a lot of emotional currency, as it were. And it's gonna take just some time with like lots of conversations, lots of like actual like honest like thoughts, and just sort of like, hey, you know what's really got you bothered with me, um, and the end result may still be the same, which is it still might result in you being fired. So my suggestion first, before anything else, would be to get yourself into a position where you can uh, not have your job. So that either means having like being really close with offers with other jobs. So like I would basically suggest a job search at this point in time. If you have an offer or you're very, very confident in getting it, then you can try some conversations with your boss and see whether or not that works. You've been applying, literally 1 out of 100 responded. How are you applying? Are you applying just like LinkedIn and like job applications? Are you doing any networking? Um, are you are you able to like get out there and like meet with people? And 1 out of 100 responses, that's probably that's probably about right for right now. The job market is really weird right now. And oh yeah, yeah, we okay. I forget who you are in real life because I just know you as Steven here. And um okay, probably not too long ago. I missed this last one, but I was there before. So it's the same advice I always have, which is networking is the best way to find jobs right now. Networking with recruiters, so like actually talking to them. So like code talent takes mid levels and seniors. Um, there's some other recruiters in town that are willing to work with more juniors. I would, I mean, I don't think 4 years of experience is that bad. I think that would put you in time wise pretty much solidly into mid level. I know that some like larger companies like to basically call you a junior until you're like 5 to 10 years in, but I don't really. You can become junior really quickly. I'm sorry, you can become mid level really quickly, with good experience and like good actual like working on good stuff. So the real question for that is really, do you have 4 years of experience or 4 years of 1 year repeated experience? Hopefully, it's the former. The latter makes things really tough. Yeah, so basically, network, meet people in person, get your name out there. There used to be some meetups that were for like actually building open source projects. I don't know if they're still meeting anymore. That was a really good meetup to go to if you're searching for a job. Uh, Contributing to open source or building some projects, you're working late hours and weekends. That's going to hurt that ability. But if you think that you're in imminent danger of being fired, what's the difference between you working over hours, harming yourself, hurting your chances of getting a job, and being fired anyways, and then just not working extra hours and then helping your chances of getting a job and being fired anyways? Like it might make more sense to like be strategic about it, I guess, is my suggestion. Is like it's like a chess game. You got to be you got to have some strategy. And there's going to be a point in time when it's just going to become more of like an out. Like, yep, Steven's actively looking for a new job. Um and that will eventually come. But you can do it stealth, and then most recruiters, if you talk to them, tell them that you're stealth searching. They know what that means. They won't what that usually most of them will ask you, who should I not like contact? And then you just tell them the name of the company, and they'll be sure not to send your information to that company. So like, hey, I have this person who's looking for a job. Do you know anybody? We are seeing more hiring like in the industry right now, like both tech and non-tech. So now is probably like the beginning of the wave to start looking for jobs. But I would still say that just a LinkedIn search is going to be the longest search possible. So hedge your bets. Anything else I can like? Is there any other ways I can answer that, or is that enough for now? Also, if you're willing, if you're in the yeah, you're in the United States. You're here in Denver. Um, you need to have awkward social interactions. Don't we all? We all need to have awkward social interactions at some point in time. Um, Being willing to relocate can help a little bit. There's some, but I know that that's really rough for a lot of people. Hey, look who's here today. Cat Cam. That is like the perfect direction for him to lie, too. If you not really helpful for the awkward social interactions, but maybe a good book for just like having conversations in general. Crucial Conversations is probably the best book that I've read on that topic. It goes through a bunch of exercises that you can do during a conversation to basically make sure that um, at least there's no losers. And it can be rough, and it can be scary, and it can be not great, but most conversations can be recoverable. All right, so we're going to train all the authors together, implement a hash map as provided here, or any other maps, for example, a B-tree map if you want to ensure the order of the authors in a map. Okay. Oh, you know what we can say also? The author should have um, books, should have the books associated with them in a vector. Which actually, I don't know if that matter. Yeah, it needs to be a vector. Okay. Get all authors with books. All right, so retrieve all of the authors from the database with their books. Use a single query to the database to get all of the data you need. And then return return the authors. I guess return the authors using the authors type. All right, struct authors. This will be single author with just its ID and name. We don't care about the author's books yet. So it's going to be single author right. I used query for the other one, not the query as, I think, right? Or I just already got rid of it. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so single author. Single author with their books. in an array, in a vector. The books are the simple single book type, which just includes the book ID and name. Okay, so there we go. And that should be this file then. All right, so mismatch types. What do you've got? I somehow failed to put in a to-do here. Unused import. Okay, so I'm going to remove all the unused imports. Unused. Okay, so we can reference that. What the? How? Oh, that's weird. How am I getting? Thank you for these. That was not what I wanted. The other pool worked just fine, but the IDs absolutely did not. Okay, so ID. Okay, so you do that. And for some reason, you're creating a second ID, which is not exactly what I was going for. All right, so you're gonna be yeah, underscore for everything. Okay, function defined here. This function takes 2 arguments, but 3 were supplied. Update our there. Oh, I did screw that up. Okay, hold on. Okay, so ID and then the name. Oh, I see what happened. So this is really going to be an author ID. Okay, that's the only time now I have an I-32 directly written here. Okay, that's good. Excellent. Okay, so then I think that means this file's done. No errors, no warnings for anything. So set up authors. I guess like it's just like set up for taking assessment. All right, so that's authors. Next up is books. All right, for our book ID, so ID for the book, for the books, since IDs in Postgres are I32s, this would, I guess, like, I don't know, ID for the books in the database. Okay, this one. Result. So create a book. So insert a book with the given name into the database and return the newly created book ID. All right, so retrieve a single book from the database and turn it. We don't care about the authors of this book yet. Since the book I think I want to just do in the case. I guess like that the provided ID. So in the case that the provided ID doesn't exist in the database, return a none. All right, so let's see. We have our update book. Probably update the books. Update the book. Okay, update the book's name with the given ID in the database. I got a message saying somebody's cat is jealous of Zilby on the screen. Oh, that is that is a super cute cat too. Oh, Unreal Realities, that's you. Hello. Yeah, that is pretty cool. Zilby doesn't like I played Stray, which even has an orange cat, and Zilby didn't care at all. But Zilby looks at screens all the time and can like seems to see things on the screens. Is super interested to see um other cats didn't care about Stray at all. So apparently when it's me playing the cat, he doesn't want anything to do with it. But that is a great picture. Permanently delete the book, the given ID from the database. Okay, so create both the create a book and its author at the same time in the at the same time and associate them together in the database. Return a tuple with the book ID and with the book and authors IDs. I guess it'd be author IDs. You have two cats that look exactly the same. They rarely both get on desk, but if it ever happens with Zilby in the background, you'll send it. Oh, that would be amazing to see. Two Tux cats. I've heard, so I've never had a black and white cat like that. But I've heard that they're super chill cats usually. Is that the same? Is that what you found with yours? Okay. Create a book and its authors at the same time and associate them together in a database. Return a tuple with the book and author IDs. Since this is a bulk operation, make sure that if any command fails during it, the database is left unchanged. Right? So we could just go over here. No, not that far. Oh, nice. They are. I've had several cat. You've had cats of all kinds, and they seem to be the most laid back. Mine are two sisters from the same litter. Oh, interesting. Zilby sometimes is laid back, like right now when he just wants to hang out and sleep on his cardboard platform. But the other times he's like, nope, we are playing right now. And if we don't play, I will initiate play anyways. So, warning. And if I ignore too many of those warnings, the the forced play is really just attacking my ankle. All right. Is a hash map. Feel free to change this to any other kind of map, like a B-tree map. Let's see, type authors is then a vec of author. I think I don't need to do that one. I think I'll let. Why was I able to get it from this one but not the other one? That seems weird. We'll try it again. Wait. What's in library? Okay, they're both pub, so I should be able to go to super and then back out again. That should work. Okay. Get all books with the authors. Okay, so retrieve. And return the books type above. Return using the books type above. Is there anything else that I want to put as part of this? This is like pretty. Oh yeah. We just use a single operation to the database to get all the data you need. Okay, so use a single operation into the database to get all the data you need, and then I guess it's just that. Oh, I can do that. That's nice. Oh, and you're unhappy because right. So I want this. Yeah, import authors. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't do that before. That was weird. Oh, because it was authors, not auth. Wait. Yes, maybe. No, I don't want this to be authors. That's wrong. This should be author. There we go. Now you're happy. Okay. Struct book. Okay, so simple, I guess, destruct models a single just the books table. We don't care about the the authors for this object. Or maybe just more of use this. How about use this for when we don't care? Okay. And then for you, we have books with authors. So this will be, book with authors. Yeah, this will be fine. So book with authors. This struct models the relationship when using okay, so that's good there. And then this one we're gonna get rid of. Okay, no problems here. Prepared. Okay, and that's that should be everything. So if I push that up, I think now I didn't do this with any of the other ones, but since we're gonna go through this one, there's only one assessment. I'm thinking that maybe like a video of me going through it uh, as part of the solution would be really helpful. So that's the plan next, and we have plenty of time to do that. Vampire, hello, welcome. You were deemed quack. Yes, I don't have a good way to do this yet. I keep on thinking about it and then not spending time on it. So hold on, let me oh, you know what I could do? Hold on, let me give browser a window capture. This is gonna be quack. Also, happy Friday the 13th. Yes, indeed, happy Friday. Quack, quack, quack. Oh, my Windows keyboard is not on Comax. It's hard for me to type. Okay, this one, do that. Capture. Okay, so do that. Okay, so here's quack. Nice and centered like that. I'm not truly centered. Good enough. And now I can. That's our quack. This was, by the way, created by one of our community members, Danaka. And I think it's all written in Rust and deployed out there. It's fun. I want some way to like have like an API for it. Then we can just have the quack happen, and maybe like eventually when I have time, we'll update it so that it will just show up on stream. And then do the thing. Oh, you don't know? Oh, browsers don't directly support Rust, but you can compile to WebAssembly from Rust, and browsers support that. And so you can it's like the .NET stuff. Is that what .NET does? Does it compile to WebAssembly, or it just compiles to JavaScript, right? Okay, so it compiles to HTML and JavaScript. That makes sense. Yeah, so this is slightly different. Um, it it compiles to JavaScript. Sorry, Rust can compile to WebAssembly, and then WebAssembly runs in pretty much every modern browser, including mobile browsers. It just works now. And then there's a lot of frameworks to use. Um, there's a pretty cool website. Are we yet? I think it's what I think this is what it is. Are we whatever yet? And so like there's I think it's are we web yet? Are we web yet? So there's a full are we web yet org.org. Web browser is an OS when? I mean, it somebody is I probably working on it. Okay, so let's see. There's a list of okay, where is it? Didn't there used to be like a list of things out, or am I thinking of, or is that a different page? I feel like there used to be like a table of these. But okay, there's some awesome Rust and Wazi stuff. Yeah, this is like not necessarily the what I would go for. Is there like a better list? I feel like there should be. Maybe it's here. Web frameworks. Okay, so we have server frameworks and front end frameworks. So yeah. Here we have like Leptos. So the ones I've heard of, Leptos is a big one. It's been gaining a lot of popularity. I've heard of Daxus, but don't hear it being like as big as Leptos. Sauron, hadn't heard of that one before. Iced, I've heard multiple times of. Seed, we tried once and it was like it's okay. I built an entire project in you. So, uh, this website is all built in you. So it's all built in Rust, compiled to WebAssembly, and shipped over to your local browser. Back in the day, we were happy when our favorite browser passed the acid test. Look at all this stuff now. I know. We're This era of development is so awesome because we get so many cool tools to play with. Yeah, so anyways, you absolutely can do uh Rust in the browser. It's nice. Okay, so I went through all these. I pushed all those changes up. I didn't have anything to pull, right? It would have yelled at me. So let's see. That means I think we're gonna try a video of playing through these. Let's try. If I run check, this should say, okay, code is formatted, cargo check passes, Clippy is happy. The tests are not passing. Oh, fun. Oh, and untracked fails. Okay, so I want to add that. Oh, it's not check dot check that out. Let's check that out. Okay. You'll check into what a WebAssembly is. I assume it's not your typical assembly where it's CPU dependent. No, perhaps this would go with a different mental model. Think of the browser as a VM. The very similar to like the JVM is a VM. And so therefore you create assembly for that VM, and that just happens to be the browser. And because it's a standard, all the browsers have agreed to implement it in the exact same way. So that's how it works. And for the longest time, it was okay, but not really great because everybody was sort of like waiting for WebAssembly to like get access to the DOM essentially right now. And WebAssembly moves really slowly compared to more modern languages. So eventually, everybody got tired and have written all these glue code to sort of deal with that. So you can only pass in essentially primitives like numbers and strings and that kind of stuff, which like normally would be like what? So if, when I'm saying, hey, like, you know, register this event handler for this thing, it's really like just numbers and simple strings being passed back and forth. And actually, it might not even be simple strings; it might just be numbers being passed back and forth to then as various like commands to say, okay, do this thing, do that thing, do this thing. So it's not as fast as it one day will be, but it's still pretty dang fast. All right. So this is all updated. Let's I want to create a new, so I have the solution branch. I want to create like a video solution branch. What do I want to call this? So the other one I called solution. Call this like assessment solution. I want to go through this and I want to verify that everything's working. So first of all, if I just do a cargo test, oh, we've got more problems in here. We probably want these. Huh? What are you? Let's switch back to main. Okay, so test books. Okay, so book.authors.length. Oh, right. Okay, so in author, no, this is books. Author is not just author. This has to be a vec of author, like that. I think that solved it. Zero passed, seven failed. Okay, so that is to be expected. You all failed because they all panicked. Okay. Oh, query. Does that mean that it polluted my database with a whole bunch of databases? I think it did. Oh no. Okay. Can I see all these here? Oh, I can delete from here. So I can delete. Okay. Now if I run this again, I think we're gonna get the exact same thing, right? Ooh. Yep. Okay. That is something to be aware of. Which is a little bit unfortunate. Is there, okay, I wonder if there's any documentation in sqlx for not doing that. Oh, to limit disk space usage, any previously created test databases will be deleted the next time a test binary. Oh, okay. So then that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So if I run this again, here we have a bunch of test databases. So 238 through 244. I run this again. And now we have 245 through 251, but it deleted those databases for me. It's not like just infinitely creating new ones. We just get 7 new ones. Okay. I think we're good. We're safe then. All right. So what is there anything else I care about? I probably want to remove all these. Is there something in here that's checking that out? Oh yeah. Oh, I bet this is where it's storing that stuff. If I wipe this, so if I delete you all, and we rerun this, I want to see if it starts with like 1. It didn't start with 1. Okay, I was kind of expecting that to start with 1. That must be storing them somewhere else. Where's actually the... Isn't there like a migrations? So there's a SQL test here. Where's the migrations? I can't see that. Do I have to like search for... Let's see. Maybe I can do a query. Select star from Something migrations? Oh, it's just databases. Okay, so huh. There's no migration database. Interesting. Oh, if I drop you. Oh, there's a different schema. Oh, because that, yeah, this is the schema that there must be something else that's relying on. I have to get rid of all of these. That's what it is. Then we can go into get rid of you now. Can I cascade you? Now if I run you, what happens? There we go. That's how we reset the number. Okay, perfect. So I want to delete all of you. And cascade, you're deleting. Okay, cool. So now we can come into here and show these databases being doing its thing. And so then finally, let's see. Okay, modified the books, and I can also remove the .env. So I'm in mains. This is fixed books using wrong type for authors in books. Okay, so we're up to date and we have that fixed now here. So we can do the cargo test, but we know that's going to work. So let's oh right, I'm using VS Code for all this. So you're all good here. Let's put that over to the side. You can stay here. You. Osage, hello. How are you doing today? Can a Rust web service be deployed to the edge? Do you okay? So let's share definition. Edge. What do you mean by that? Are you talking about like edge functions in like edge lambda functions? Like the ones that can run from CloudFront, or edge Cloudflare? I think also has edge functions. Okay, yes. If I remember correctly, you can run Rust functions on them directly. No, you can do so for the Lambda ones. You can create your own custom runner, and then that should just work and do what you expect it to do. However, if it's like Cloudflare, I can't remember if you have to like compile it to WebAssembly first and then give it to them. I've never done it myself, but I watched Mr. Halsey when he was streaming a bunch, And he was working on a project that used a lot of Rust inside of Cloudflare edge functions. So I would imagine that would do what you would expect. So the answer is yes, but your mileage may vary on how easy or portable it really is. It should be fast regardless, though. Do any of the edge any of the edge systems actually support Docker at all? I've never looked into them. Like I've just read some documentation on the Amazon ones and never actually like built one. So that's like another caveat is like, ooh, well, if I'm wrong, that could change it. Fly.io has region replication, but it's not really edge. Okay. Yeah, so for anybody who wants to know a little bit more about like edge functions, my understanding of this, and so correct me if I'm wrong, Osage, but my understanding of like the difference between just like a normal edge function and then using region specific functions. So like in Amazon, you can have a Lambda function deployed to a region, like Ohio in the United States, or I think like um there's like two or three different ones in Europe. There's like one for all of like Asia or something like that. I'd have to go and like look at it again to see where they have it. The region would be, you don't know where, but somewhere in that region is a server that houses your functions and your traffic is routed to that server. So if you live in that area, that's pretty good. Edge is like one-upping that and saying, okay, you're living in like, let's take United States to be specific. You're living in like, let's say, the very northeast. Like you're in Maine somewhere, and yeah, you have like you have like Virginia as like maybe the source of everything over there, but that's still pretty far away. You could with an edge function find like maybe they have like a little distribution center for that entire region right there in Maine. And so that means all your traffic goes to that instead, which does make it very, 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 very fast when it comes to like, okay, I need you to do something. I need you to like intercept the DNS requests and like add some headers to something, which you can do with edge functions. So it's pretty crazy. It's there's a lot of really cool things you can do with it. I think they can get decently expensive if you really want to do like heavy stuff in them, but you want them to run really fast because you generally don't want, if those are slow, everything is slow for your website. And that's not the best. All right. So we have VS Code open. It's too big. It's a CDN globally distributed network, but for it to work, you can only use web standards. So for example, Node needs a lot of hack polyfills. Oh, isn't that like one of the reasons why Bun is going to be like really popular is like Bun's going to be available for a lot of the edge stuff, which is going to make it really fast to execute and run Node on the edge. It's something like that. Bun is awesome. However, you're learning Rust. True. Very, very true. All right. So you're done with JS for now, which like totally makes sense. Totally understandable. So I guess like circling way back around, the answer is hopefully. And it might depend on the vendor you use. But I bet regardless of how it's doing it, you could use Rust no matter what. It just is going to be how nice of an experience it's going to be. All right. Let's see here. We have, okay, so everything's basically ready to go. I'm going to start off by running the tests. And, oh, actually, no. First, I have to start off by creating the .env file, which I can't even see in here. Oh, I can see right here. .env example. So I want to create this and then run the tests, and then basically just go through and get it all done. And it's going to be happy. This is going to be a long video. So we will see if I can do this in one take, or if I screw up or something else and I need to like break it apart. Right. Let me turn on Nightbot. All right. The timer is running. Recording there. All right. So for those of you who may not have seen this before, when I do recording for a lesson or YouTube or anything like that, I generally don't pay attention to, well, I pay attention to chat, but I don't directly respond to chat. So if you say something and it's like relevant to the video, I'll see if I can like work it in. Otherwise, I'll answer at the end of this. This is going to be a long recording. I'm going to go through the entire assessment all in one go if I can, which who knows how long that might be. I'm guessing easily over 30 minutes because I'm explaining what I'm doing at the same time. I'm going to try to do it relatively slow. Plus, I'm also in VS Code. And that's going back to VS Code after using a bunch of Helix type stuff is like always going to be interesting. We're going to see what our Helix and VS Code commands is going to be at the end of this one. So with that being said, let me turn off. Okay, alerts are off. We turn off. Oh, I didn't even notice Zilby leaving. Okay, so Zilby's gone. Desktop audio is gone. Okay, so camera, mic, and me. All right. With that, I think we're about ready to go. So let's see. You know what I'll do is I'll start on the page for this. We'll start here. And then seeds has, yeah, it has all the seeds we want to use. Oh, right. We have to do all that stuff too. Yeah, this might be closer to an hour. We'll see. We'll see how long this takes. There's a lot to this. All right. And yeah, I'll just go here for the reference for the seeds too. I mean, for the migrations as well. All right, here we go. Hello and welcome to this solution walkthrough for the sqlx bookstore assessment. So in this assessment, we are basically taking on the role of a Rust developer, a backend developer, who has been tasked with setting up the database for and some queries for a bookstore. So there's several things that we're going to need to do to make this all work for us. First of all, I already have cloned this repo, but basically we can just clone this on down, or you can fork it to your own account and then clone that down as well. Once you have it locally, we're going to need to set it up by creating a .env. We have a .env example here, so I can just copy. Actually, we're just going to duplicate this file. So it's just easier to use the terminal. It's copy .env example to .env. And in here, we're going to say, okay, database. Now I have a database already running from Docker. So we can just do Postgres, username. Oh, you know what? I forgot to kill the database because it already has all the things in there. Oh, that was going really well too. Okay, fine. We'll try take two shortly. I want to, okay, so sqlx tutorial for the database is fine. I want to run down on migrations. Oh, but I can't even more because there's no migrations to run. So you know what I'm going to do? I am going to just kill this. sqlx tutorial. Currently open database. Why are you open? None of you are doing anything. Oh, are you trying to connect to it? You shouldn't be. I don't have PSQL connected. Oh, wait, are you connected to it? It might. Nope, don't want that. Delete you. Can I connect to you and now delete you? No. Okay, fine. Disconnect from you. Okay, I don't even have, okay, so we're gonna do a, you know what the easiest way to deal with this is? Just Docker stop. I can't start after I removed it. We have to do a run. And that will be our Postgres dev. We've got everything working on there. Okay. All right. Nothing's in here. Nice and clean and simple setup. We are good to go there. Let me delete that other file. And we will try this again. All right, here we go. Take two. Hello, and welcome to this assessment video walkthrough for the sqlx bookstore, assessment. In here, we're going to be basically assessing our ability to connect to a, in this case, Postgres database using sqlx, doing basic CRUD queries, and then doing some more advanced bulk queries, and then finally a many-to-many join. And sort of stitching everything together and putting it all back together. It's fully tested, so you don't need to worry about running tests, but just rather making them all pass. So all you have to do is just write the code to make it work. There is a little bit of stuff we have to do first to get set up though. So to begin with, here I'm on the GitHub page for the actual full assessment. What we can do is fork this over into our own account and just then clone it to your own system. I already have it down on my system. So let me go ahead and open up VS Code here. All right, so we're not quite ready yet. We have to first tell everything how it's going to connect to the database, and we need a .env file for that. Now we have a .env example file here, so I'm just going to copy this into a new one. So we're just going to copy .env example to .env, and we can go ahead and update this. So in my case, it's Postgres. Username is going to be Postgres. Password is going to be keyboard cat. Host is localhost. Port is 5432. And database is sqlx tutorial. All right. So saved. I can close you, and we're all good. We should be ready to go here. Now, if I run the tests, they won't really pass because they're we haven't done anything yet. But let's go ahead and run them right now already. So we're gonna do cargo test, and right. The first thing is it yells at us saying, "Hey, look, there's the relation books, book authors doesn't exist." It's telling us that because it's expecting there to be tables in the database for us. So the first thing we have to do is create the migrations to run for us. So I've already previously installed the sqlx CLI. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a migration. We need to create books, authors, and then book authors. And if we take a look at like the sort of the shape of the data that we need to go, we can go into the seeds here, and we have a README saying, okay, for the seeds we want, here's like books. We're gonna have a book ID and a name. So easy enough. Let's go ahead and create our migration. So sqlx. Now I want to do this in the root of the entire project. sqlx migrate add, and this is going to be create what is it called? Create books. All right, it created this. I don't really care for this project that I need it down, so we're just going to work on ups here. So let's do a create table if not exists books. We want, so we know from here what we want. We want a book ID and a name. And then if we look at here, the book ID is just going to be the normal integers. These can be the serial, and then these can be fairly short. Varchars is going to be fine. So book ID is going to be a serial and a primary key. Then we're going to have a name, and that's going to be a varchar 255. I want this to be unique because we can't have the same book in there twice. We're going to put a unique in there. So okay, name varchar unique, and it must be there too, so not null. Okay, so we have you, and that should be it. This should create our table. Now I should be able to just run this migration right now. I like to run it just to test to make sure it works before I start doing more on top of this. So we'll do a car sqlx migrate run. It ran that migration. I have this connector this GUI connector to the database, and we can take a look at what we have in here. When I hit refresh, I think I have to click on one of these before I can make it bigger. I was able to make it bigger before. Font, show font. You become like 24. Okay, fine. It's not doing it right now. I'll worry about that later. Oh, these are big. Nice. Okay, so basically we have our we have the books table here, and we have the sqlx migrations table. Excellent. So we're good to go there. Let's go ahead and create the rest of our migrations. So we need the books. Next up, let's create the authors. Create our authors. We're going to do an insert into, no, we're going to create table. So create table, if not exists, authors. And it's going to be the exact same thing in this case. So we're going to have an author ID, which is going to be a serial and a primary key. And we're going to have a name, which is a varchar 255. It must be unique and not null. Okay. So that's good. Let's see. Last one. We need the book authors. All right, book author is going to be interesting because all we need here is just the book ID and the author ID. So create table if not exists book authors. We're going to have the book ID, which is going to be this is going to be an int. It is going to be required, so not null. And this is we're going to need this to be a foreign key. So foreign key. I think it's the references the table name, so then and then the what it is. So foreign key references books with book ID. Okay. And then author ID. Int not null. Foreign key references authors. Author ID. And then finally, I want a primary key to wrap around both of these to make sure we have a unique for, one book, one author, essentially. So this is going to be a primary key for book ID and author ID. No comma there, and then semicolon for you. Okay. That should work. Let's go ahead and run this. Make sure it does work. So SQL migrate run. Oh no, it didn't like it. Okay, so it didn't like my foreign key here. So often I have to go look up exactly how that works. Oh wait. I forgot null here. Maybe that's what it was yelling about. Syntax at or near foreign. Okay, so it might not like this foreign right now. Yeah, let's go take a look at the documentation really quickly. This happens to me all the time whenever I'm just doing a create table, since I usually do that at the beginning of a project, then don't really need to worry about it for a long time after that. I'm just going to go straight to the Postgres documentation, and we're going to look for the create table. Create table as create table. And then inside of here, I want to search for, let's see, we create a table. I want to search for foreign key. Okay, foreign key. Oh, look at that. It's foreign key, parentheses, column name, and then references the ref table. So I had it backwards. Okay, so foreign key, and then column names. This would be the book ID. In parentheses, references books, and then that should be it. Let's do the same one to this one. So foreign key, this is going to be author ID in parentheses, references authors. Okay, let's see if this is any better. We will run you. I did save that. Syntax error at or near foreign. Oh no, it doesn't like it. Okay, so what did I do wrong? So table constraints can go at the end, and then it can be a foreign key. Oh, did I add a parentheses? References the ref table. Oh, and then ref column. So is it my own? So foreign key book ID references books. Book ID. Author ID. Oh no. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna cancel that. Having too many problems with this one. I need to remember how to do this. I did it last time, like second try. I don't know why. Like every time I have trouble with this. The Better Owen, hello, howdy. How are you doing today? All right. So, what? Well, this is gonna be the third try. As soon as I get my foreign key thing working. What did I do wrong? I can do it with the constraint. I know that you can do it all together in one go. What did I do in my... I'm pretty sure I did it all in one go in here. So if I hit, yeah, we're not using that. We're gonna start over again. You get that? You had to record some guides for work earlier today. It took me far too many attempts as you kept on making the same mistake on repeat. Oh no! Making the same mistake doing videos sucks so much. Okay. I want to... I'm gonna switch to solution. And then we're gonna go in and take a look at the migrations. What did I do here? So it is author ID int not null references authors author ID. This works. No, don't press cancel. Delete. I guess we'll delete that too. Okay, so I got nothing in here. We are going to run you. Yeah, okay, that works. Wow. So how far off was I? I was okay, so I had author ID, int, not null, references, authors, author ID, on delete cascade. I must have screwed that up somehow. So we're gonna do that again. You know what I'm gonna do? I am going to screenshot that and just have that. Oh no, don't put that there. Just have, wait a second. That's not their great screenshot. What happened to my screenshot? Oh, weird. That was like the screenshot from the other day. Okay. Let's try this again. Redo the screenshot. Okay, so now I can open that up separately and reference that for when I forget again. Just attach the screenshot to the video. Yeah, that we could do that, Comcake. Also, hello, how are you doing today? Okay, take 3. Take 3. So I'm in the wrong branch. This is assessment solution. I'm going to remove the .env. And I guess I'll just start here this time. All right. I'll start here. It'll make sense. All right, here we go. Take 3. Hello, and welcome to the walkthrough, the video walkthrough for the sqlx bookstore assessment. We're starting here at the repo, but I've already got this cloned, downloaded onto my computer. I recommend that you fork this repo and then you can clone it onto your computer, or obviously you can just clone it directly. If you do fork it though, you can make changes to that and just sort of like save it as essentially your own notes and references. Let's go switch to VS Code. So the first thing we're going to want to do here is get our database set up and going. I already have a local Postgres database up and running. It's empty. There's nothing in it right now. So everything should be fairly ready for us. Now we do need to connect to that database. We have a .env example file here, which shows us, well, this is pretty much what that connection string is going to look like. We're going to need to copy the .env example to a .env. And once we have that, update it with the appropriate information. For my database, that means username will be Postgres, password will be keyboardcat, host will be localhost, port is 5432, and the database is sqlx tutorial. Once we have that set up, we can now try running the tests. Although things are going to fail for us. So at the root of the project, we can run cargo test. It will attempt to compile things, and everything fails for us. And if we take a look at what's going on, the failure is saying all these panics. Where are they? Not yet implemented. Hold on. Okay. That's not the error we're supposed to get. Okay, cancel the recording again. What happened? Why did that seed? I'm in the assessment solution. We don't have a migrations here. How did it get to the code? It should have attempted to run the migrations and not have found the tables. Did I not? I didn't reset the database. I forgot to. Oops. Whoa. Don't delete everything. Just that one. Okay. Let's also get rid of you in case I ever go into there. Now we're ready to do this. Okay. Take 4. Hey, as long as it's like unique problems every time. It's different ones every time, but it's not fun ones. The DB client. This DB client is called Postico. It's unfortunately a Mac only database client. This is the free version, and you can also get a paid version. But yeah, it's called Postico. Here is the URL for it. Yeah, I found out about this one when my what are its advantages? I guess like its advantages are that it looks good. It has a free tier, and it does what it's supposed to. It does basically what you really want to do as a viewer, and like very basic manipulator for data. So I can very easily run queries inside of here. It gives really good autocomplete when you're trying to run things in it. And then besides that, you can connect to multiple databases. You can do lots of different things with it. All the normal things that you'd expect to do. It can't do everything that like a SQL Workbench can, but it's not trying to be that comprehensive. It's also fairly cheap. Like if you end up it's not really that powerful, but nice because it's simple. Yes, it's basically if you want a very simple view of your database to run queries, and then also one of my favorite things, which I should get rid of these. That would have been, I would have just gone with it had I seen it. If we go into here, no. Do I have anything in here? I don't. Wait, is there something else that I can look into? Yeah. So one nice thing here is that there's only 177 rows in this. Perfect. So I can go filter and I can search across any column. That's one of my favorite things about Postico is that I can do a query across any column instead of anything else. I have not used dbeaver, but I've worked with people who have, and it seems fine. I do like the look of this a little bit more, but dbeaver does work on pretty much any operating system. So that's a positive for dbeaver. Oh, and I can do subqueries inside of here. Like there's a couple other SQL clients that I couldn't do the queries in like the quick filter, but I could do subqueries in this, which is really nice. All these numbers are all the same. Oh, OPC family is different. dbeaver is based on Eclipse IDE of all things, so yeah, its looks are meh. And I think that's one of the things I've realized about myself is if it looks like essentially Eclipse or one of those old Java apps, it's harder for me to read the data. It's a very fascinating thing. Or I get confused or something by just the interfaces themselves. I just want less. I want less stuff around. All right. So anyways, that's this thing. I can turn off you. We can go back to you, connect to you, refresh, we're all good. Refresh, we're all good. Okay. Take 4. Let's see how we do. And I got my image on the other screen, so we should get past that part now. All right, take 4. Here we go. Hello and welcome to this video walkthrough for the sqlx bookstore assessment. We're going to be going through everything about how this assessment works and then also how to pass it. Let's go ahead and get started. So here I am on the website, the GitHub repo for the assessment itself. Now, because I wrote this, I already have it downloaded onto my system. I would recommend for you probably to clone this or to fork it and then clone it to your system. That way, any changes that you make, you can upload them and then save them to your account so you can have them for reference. Let's switch over to VS Code here. The first thing we're going to want to do once we get the repo cloned down is to set up our connection to the database. And that means setting up our .env file. I do have a .env example file already set up, so we can just copy that and then go from there. Let's copy env example to .env. And we'll go ahead and set this up. So database URL, Postgres. Okay, so in my case, I already have a database running. It is using Postgres as the username. It is using keyboard cat as the password. Host is localhost. Port is 5432, and the database name is sqlx tutorial. All right. Next up, the next thing we want to do is run the test. Now, we haven't done anything, so this should fail, but this entire assessment is test driven, meaning that we can run the test, sort of like see what the next thing for us to work on is, and then we see the test start to turn green and pass as we work through the assessment, and we know we're done when everything's passing. So let's go ahead. We're going to start with a cargo test, and we get 7 failed. And let's see. It is what? Okay. Why is this working? Why is it getting to this point? How does it know? I'm on assessment solution, right? Okay, hold on. What's going on here? I don't have a migration folder. We don't have a migration folder, and I don't get it. That should have, so we got the error correctly one time. There must be something hidden inside the database when I'm resetting it. So I need to. Okay. I quit out of view. I get well. So I always thought that sqlx wouldn't store the migration, and I thought I deleted the place where it stored the migration in the database. I thought I did that. Maybe I like didn't commit it, and therefore it didn't really delete. It's just a little bit surprising because like I couldn't see the tables, and when it tries to do the seeds, all of that stuff should fail. Like if we open up all these are to do. I mean, is that actually what it's supposed to look like? Um, Hold on. Let's try an experiment here. So we're gonna draw docker stop. Rerun you. So you're started from the basics. And then if I just do a straight up cargo test. Okay, I guess that is. For some reason, I thought it should yell at us about not having the tables. Where is it panicking? It's panicking the seeds. Not yet implemented. Yeah. Okay, never mind. So I was perfectly fine and happy, and then I just stopped it because I was expecting a different result. So that's fun. Let's go ahead and cancel this again. Get that going. Okay, we have a Docker thing going. We have that. So I guess like I'll just skip the running it first, and we'll go straight to we need to create migrations. All right, at this rate, I won't be able to do the entire thing today, but maybe I can do like a couple different videos and I'll stitch them together into like, hey, okay, migrations first, and then I'll do one for seeds, and then I'll do another one for the rest of them, so like the actual code stuff. That probably is a good idea. Okay, let's try number 5. We are on go number 5. Take 5. Remove our .env. And start here. All right, take 5. Hello and welcome to this video walkthrough for the sqlx bookstore assessment. I will be going through everything we need to get going with this assessment and then complete it. So let's get started. Now I already have this assessment cloned down onto my local system. I recommend that you fork this to your own GitHub account, and that way any changes that you make, you can push them on up to GitHub, and then you'll have them as reference for in your own account, if in case you ever need that. Let's switch over to VS Code here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is spin up our database if we haven't already. I already have one running in Docker locally, so we need to get a connection going to it. Now we have a .env example in this repo, but we need this to be in a .env file format. So let's go ahead and copy this file over. So example to .env. And then I'm going to open you up and let's update this. So in my case, the username is Postgres. The password is keyboard cat. The host is localhost. The port is 5432. And the database is sqlx tutorial. Okay, there we go. I can type. All right, so this should be our connection to the database. Now you notice we don't have any migrations here. We have a seed directory, but the first thing we need to do before we do any seeds or anything else, we need to set up our database. Now, if I connect to our database using a GUI tool, we can see that here I am in sqlx tutorial. We have nothing here. We have no tables running at all. So the migrations are going to be essential. Otherwise, nothing else is really going to work. Now we can see what we need to migrate to in the seeds directory. In the README, we have a list of the 3 different tables we need to create along with their columns and type names. So we need for books, we need a book ID and name. Same for authors, so author ID and name. And then finally, we have book authors with our author ID and book ID. Let's go ahead and get started with that. I'm gonna go ahead. I already have the sqlx CLI installed, so I just need to, in the root of the project, run sqlx migrate add create. We're gonna do this as books. Create books. And that's going to create our books migration here. So this is going to be a simple SQL insert script. So not insert, create table. If not exists. We generally do if not exists. That way, if the table does exist, it won't just crash out because it already does. So it won't really run anything beyond this if it already exists for us. So we want book ID. This is going to be a serial type and then primary key. And then we're also going to have a name. This is going to be a varchar. And let's see. I want this to be unique and not null. And that's it. That's all we need for the books. Now we can run this migration just to make sure that things are working the way we expect it to. So I'm going to do cargo, migrate, no, not cargo, sqlx. sqlx, migrate, run. We had a error here. Error while executing migrations, error returned from database, syntax error, at or near openip. Oh, I need the name of the table. Books. That would help. Let's try this again. There we go. Okay, so we created this table books. I can open up our database, hit refresh, and here we are. Here is our books table, and we have our book ID and the name. Excellent. Let's now make the authors. I'm gonna do a sqlx migrate add create authors. And we're going to do the exact same thing here. So create table if not exists authors. We're going to have the author ID, which is going to be a serial and also a primary key. We're going to have the name, which is going to be a varchar 255. This is going to be unique and not null. Okay, let's make sure we wrote this one correct. I'm going to do a sqlx migrate run. That one applied. Okay, so now we have authors in here too. Excellent. Okay. Next up, we want the join table between them all. So we're going to do a sqlx migrate create book authors. All right, so we're going to do a create table if not exists book authors. In here, we're not going to have an ID because this should be unique across both a book and an author together. And then we're just going to have a bunch of those. So I don't need an ID. Instead, I'm going to have a combination primary key across both a book and an ID. So we're going to do a book ID. This is going to be an int. This cannot be null, so not null. It can be duplicated in here, so this can't be unique. Then we're going to say, now I want this to be a foreign key, so it's going to have to be a references. References this books, and then it's going to be the column in books. That's going to be book ID. And then if we delete this, I want to on delete cascade. Okay. Then we do the same thing for author ID. That's going to be an int, not null. It references author ID. On delete cascade. And then finally, I want a composite primary key across both of these. And that will prevent me from having like the same book ID and the same author ID together in the data in this table. So we'll have a primary key, book ID, author ID. And that should be everything we need here. So if we save you, let's run this. There we go. Okay, we created the book authors. And we can come in and see, okay, now we have authors, and books. Sorry for this database being a little bit small to see. I don't have a zoom for like this specific view, but once we go inside of it, each column is pretty large. All right, so we have our migrations. That's great. We can now run our tests. So the tests are set up using a bit of sqlx magic, where they run a macro to auto create a unique database, run the migrations for that, and then run the test for that database. This can get slow with like a large number of tests, but we only have 7 or so tests here, so we're good to go. Let's go ahead and run cargo test here. It attempts to create all the databases and run the test. They're all failing right now. And if we go up to the first one, well, they're a little bit random of which order they are. So this is not necessarily the best one to start with, but we notice that they're all not yet implemented. So if we take a look in our code, like for example, for the seeds here, in main, we have nothing in main here. So if we want to seed them ourselves to sort of play around with the database, we have to add this in ourselves. But in the library here, we have a to-do. Well, that's why we have the not yet implemented. And then the same is going to be in our source code for library here. Our connection to the database is also not yet implemented. All right, so let's go ahead and fix this one by one. We're going to start with seeds because that's going to be just important for us to test things and make sure that things are working the way that we expect them to. And one more thing to sort of go over before we jump into this code. If we take a look at our database now and we just go all the way out to our list of databases, we'll now see an underscore sqlx test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as new databases that have been created. These are created by sqlx as part of that testing framework. If I run the test again, it deletes these databases and creates new ones with different numbers appended to them. So you don't have to worry about like having an infinite number of these databases created for you, but they are here because that way, if something does go wrong, if the tests fail, you can actually go in and investigate and see what's going on. In this case, there's nothing in them because it's not yet implemented, so they kind of failed. So let's jump in. Let's start with our seeds. I want to see, so connect to a database and run the seeds function in our live.rs file. All right, we can do that. Now we've named this project. So this is a sub module, inside of our big module called seeds. This is called just seeds here. So we can grab access to the library using a use. So use seeds, run, and now we can run that inside of here. But I believe that run accepts a pool. It needs ownership of that pool, and so that's the first thing we need to take to get advantage to create. Now we have our .env. It's at the root of the entire project, and that's going to be fine for us. So we can use a .env, and if we take a look at our cargo.toml, we already have everything we need to connect to the database. So let's remove this to-do. No, not the library. I want the main. All right, so what do we want here? I want, we're going to use our .env first. So .env, we'll just say okay, so it'll just always be okay regardless. I want to then get the database URI. So let's see, we're going to use, I can use an env, or I can use the .env. Do you have a .env? Oh, I don't have the macros installed for that. Okay, so I have to use the standard env var. The key is going to be database URL, and then I'll just go ahead and unwrap this if it doesn't exist. We know it does exist, so if this will only fail on us once if it does. That gives us database URI. Let's go ahead and create the pool now. So this is going to be a pool equals pg pool options. I want to create a new one. Let's do our max connection so it doesn't try to create too many. 5 should be enough for, we should be fine with 5. Then I'll go ahead and connect using the database URI. And then we have to await, and then unwrap. All right, we already have an async function for this, so we're good to go there. And then I can run pool. Now you're trying to return something, so I don't want to do that. So we want to wait for you, and then we'll just unwrap on you as well. Okay, that's great. Now, if I were to attempt to run this, it wouldn't work very well because in the main library, we're not doing anything, are we? So we have to set up, let's see, fill out the run function, so we'll seed the database. And we don't have any queries here, so we're gonna have to create those. Now in the README, we do have the seeding data. It's in CSV format here. So we want to create SQL files to then insert these in. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm just gonna put create a folder named queries here, and we're just gonna create them. So let's do books.sql. I'll just go ahead and create them all. So books.sql, authors.sql, and then book authors. .sql. Okay, starting with books, and we can put the README off to the side here. So in books, I want to do an insert into books. We don't care about the ID, although we couldn't just set it here. But we know the order that these are going to come in. So either way, it's going to work for us. I'm just going to go ahead and put in the name. So insert into books, name, and then I want values. And here's where, okay, these are books. So Brave New World. So I'm just gonna actually copy all of these. Put them in here. And we're gonna do some multi-cursor magic for this. So first of all, I have this comma. I'm just going to select on all of these. Delete you. I want to turn you into a quote. I also want, that like put, okay, there it goes. Put parentheses around you, and then at the very end, we want a comma, except this one. I don't want a comma on you. I want a semicolon. Okay, that should work. Now, if we want to test to make sure that's gonna work, let's go ahead back into our library file. Oh, is that not open? Let's go find it. It's our lib.rs in seeds. We can set up a transaction for this because we're going to want to do 3 different inserts all together. And if something fails, I'm going to want it to, we'll just roll back for us. So we're going to do a, create the transaction. We need the pool. We're going to begin. Await and question mark you. At the very end here, I don't need to return anything, so I'm just going to do an OK. All right, so we have our transaction. I want to, let's see. We already have it begin, or we can just start trying to run it, and if it fails, we'll just go ahead and do a rollback on this. So I don't care about the result of it, so we can just do an if let error equals, we'll do a sqlx. Let's do a query file, just that. And this file is beginning from our cargo.toml. So I want to go into queries. So queries, and in that case, books.sql. We are going to execute this, pass in a mutable reference to the dereferenced transaction. We'll await and not question mark you. So that way we can get this error. What are you upset about? No such file or directory. I couldn't find this. Okay, so queries. Oh, I put this inside a source. I'm going to move this out just into seeds. I didn't mean for it to be inside of source. There it goes. Now it found it. We have, okay, so we have an error here in the case that something went wrong. So we can go ahead. I'm just going to print out what that error is. So eprint line, the error, error seeding books. And then I'm going to, let's see, we're going to roll back. So we can just do this right here. We can just say transaction rollback. We'll await and question mark that. And then I want to just early return at this point, and we're good to go. So we can just, we can bail on this. I'm going to use the bail function from error, and we're going to say error seeding books, and that's it. I didn't need that. Tried the vim command. Okay, there we go. So that's books. Next up, we can do authors. So let's go to create authors. No, not the migrations. I want the seeds, queries, authors. All right, so it's gonna be insert into authors, just the name, values. I'm going to do the exact same thing we did over here. I'm going to find the authors. I'm going to copy you, paste them in here, and okay, so let's start. Select all of you, go back, delete you, quote you, put you in parentheses, comma you, except for the last one, which becomes a semicolon. Okay. We're good to go there. And then we'll hook this up. It's going to be exactly the same as this one, just for the authors. So let's go ahead and run that. So you're going to be authors. And I can just multi-cursor this entire chunk of code to be authors. All right, well, it didn't immediately hate this. So it looks like it's passing. Let's do the same thing for book authors next. If we do this first, this will probably start being upset at us right away because we haven't actually written anything. So book authors. Well, I guess like there's nothing in the actual file yet. So technically it's valid. So in book authors, now if I do like insert into and then just like leave that on its own, you should be upset now, right? Yeah, there we go. Now it's being upset at me. Insert into book authors. We want book ID and then author ID. Values. Okay, so we have to make a decision here. Do I put in just like the numbers? I didn't hard code the IDs in for the names, like either the books or the authors. So if I were to just hard code this in as 1 and 2, I might get corrupted database if I ever run the seeds multiple times on the same database. But if I were to do that, I have a unique field on the name. So I kind of would need to like delete them in order to rerun them anyways. So I feel decently safe just throwing in the numbers straight in here because I feel like I'm going to have to reset the database in the case that there's a problem. That being said, if we ever run into something because like I made a bad assumption about that, then future me can be upset at current me. Let's go ahead and find. We already have this set up where the author's here. So assuming that these are coming in as these IDs, this is what it's going to look like. All right, let's go ahead and copy you. And so we know we want, so into these values. Now I wrote in here, this is, I wrote in author ID, book ID. That's something to be aware of. Let's switch these around. Author ID, book ID. What are you? Values. Okay, there we go. So for each of these, let's go ahead and select on our comma. There's going to be one row is an entire parentheses, and a comma around here. They're integers. So this should actually just work. And then just for the last line, we'll make you a semicolon. Okay. So if I save you, we head back to the library, we re-hit save, everything's happy again. And that works. Okay, at the very end, we're going to do a transaction commit. Await and question mark. All right. So we should be able to run our seeds now and actually see something in the database. Let's go ahead and try that. All right, so we're going to do a cargo run, and I think we can do package seeds. It's now going to compile and run the main file in the seeds package. Looks like it did. And if we check our database now, we're in here in sqlx tutorial and authors, we have all of our authors. Perfect. And inside of here, I should be able to test those. I should be able to test the, what is it called? My words. The relationship by doing a quick join here. So if I do like select, let's make this a little bit bigger. If I do something like select star from like book authors, join authors on authors dot author ID equal to book authors dot author ID. We just want them all. So if we run that, there we go. We got everything we want. So that relationship is working the way we expect it to be working. So that's setting up all of our seeds. And that means we should be able to run our tests. They'll still fail because we haven't written any of the queries part of it yet, but the seeds and the migrations part should be working. So previously, when we opened up one of those test databases in here, we got nothing inside of it. That's because there was no migrations to run. There were no seeds to run. Let's go ahead and try this again. So I'll do a cargo test. They still all fail, but they take a little bit longer to run this time, which hopefully is a good sign. There we go. And then if we refresh our database, we take a look at you. Well, not that one. Maybe. No, none of these still. There we go. Okay, some of them ran their migrations, and I think some of them are waiting for some other stuff to happen. So we have authors, book authors. These don't have the seeds in them here, but I don't think necessarily that's a problem because I think it's hitting I think it's hitting. Oh, could not clean database. It got a lot. It got some of these tests are being used on others, but a lot of these not yet implemented. So we're gonna have to work on those in the next video. We'll go through all of that. Anyways, we'll see you over there, and where we do the actual code on the queries themselves. See you then. Bye. All right, I think that was a good place to stop, like half an hour or so. And then Monday, we'll work on the queries part. Justice Flagel, hello. How are you doing today? What I found great for integration testing with sqlx is just to create SQLite files and copy them for the test. Oh yeah, that is a good idea. Yeah, I could see that working pretty well. I'm curious about like what this thing is like causing. And also like why the seeds didn't run fully. Because they should have. I saved everything, right? There's nothing still open. And I ran run from this, right? Yeah, I ran it because we ran the seeds ourselves. And pub run is here, and that works, which means that these tests between test authors, like the first one, oh, like, yeah, there's a bunch of these ones that don't require seeds, do they? Oh, that's what's going on. A lot of these tests don't require seeds. And that's why it wouldn't seed it. Yep, that would explain that. All right, I just wrote these too, so you'd think I would remember what's in them, but yeah. All right, let me go ahead and commit what we have here for this first part of the video. We'll use the GUI for it. Okay, so migrations, query seeds, we're in the assessment solution. Add all of you, and this is migrations, and I guess like wrote migrations and seeds. There we go, and I'll go ahead and publish that branch. Anyone knows a better way to initialize an array tn from a closure which returns some t, then do the whole maybe? Oh no, I don't know. Hmm. I have no idea. That'd be interesting to see. I guess like does it have to be an array? Maybe you can do something without like easier if it's like a different type. But then again, of course, you're losing out on some of the niceties of just going straight to an array. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting problem, but I have no idea. All right, so it is 5 o'clock. It's time for me to go out and get some dinner, hang out with my wife. No stream this weekend. I'm going to take some time, take a nice break. I'll be back on Monday morning. I also going to figure out the schedule for the next week too. It's probably going to look similar to this one, but I'm trying to go to like one social thing per week. So that usually means like one afternoon of the weeks I usually don't stream. So I will figure that out Sunday, most likely in the afternoon, and I'll post that to Twitter, X Twitter, to our Discord, and also post. I'll create the like Twitch schedule, so that way, it's all visible what we're doing. Is what you're doing right now. Let's take a look. Okay, so we have our from init function. So I love that it needs to be in unsafe too. An unsafe impl. That's fun. So okay, so you're taking a mute f, which implements function mute, returns a self item, case of self, let mute array. So maybe is it uninit? Is that how we say it? I keep on wanting to say like you in it, but that's not it. Okay, so like the size that we're setting, oh, I was like at first I thought usize was gonna be like the actual size of use of like a usize, which I was like that's gonna be a huge array. Uninitialized. Oh, that's why it's not un in it. It's short for uninitialized. Ah, that's okay. That makes more sense. Okay, so of type T with that size, uh, unsafe in the unsafe, maybe uninitialized, uninitialized, assume initialized, 4 element in the array, and then put this in there. Yeah, and then you return unsafe bracket array as pointer cast read. Ooh, I've never tried to do this before, so I don't have anything off the top of my head to make this better. And you're trying to turn this off of a tuple, or are you like turning? Is this turning like a tuple into an array? Oh, so interesting. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. So I don't know. The result code below is even more annoying. Oh, because now it's like it's a try essentially now. Yeah, yeah. The the good thing about something like this, and this, there's not too many lessons from clean code that I think is like, okay, this is a good idea. Like let's just blindly follow it. I like this one. There's one sort of one that I think a lot of people skip over, which is if you can't make something really, really nice and like sort of like simple and easily described by variable names and everything else, document it with whatever you need documentation and just hide it in nestled deep in the code for it to be used later. That sounds exactly like what this is. Just a trait to allow you to use both tuples and arrays. Oh, okay. So nice little helper functions for you. So yeah, if this is working, I guess like number one, get it working, right? Number two, when we learn more, we can maybe make it better. But until then, this is, I guess, what we got. It's only implemented for T. I didn't look at what T was. I assume it's like something that you're commonly working with. T, whatever implement size. Okay. I mean, that seems fine. Oh, tuple values of the same type. Oh, I kept on thinking about arrays. I'm like, well, that's normal, right? Tuple of the same type? Yeah, that does feel a bit odd to use. You'd have to then create, because this is all in the side of macro, right? So you'd have to create another. Is that right? Oh, no, no, no. This macro closes here. Yeah, so that would be interesting. I don't know. You'd have to create like another macro to auto generate for the different types, which is why you see so many of the like create for like, impl for tuple of like T and A, T and A and B, A B C D. It's like then all the way through. It's like, okay, after like 20 of these, we got tired, and we're that we support 25 or so. So fun things. All right. Well, this is pretty cool. You have something similar in another project? Yeah. I did it once before and I can't remember what I did it for anymore. That was a while ago when we were doing a lot of game dev. All right. So anyways, back to my outro. I will figure out my schedule on Sunday and I'll X tweet slash Discord slash put that into Twitch out on Sunday afternoon. I'm in Mountain Time, so if you're in European time, that'll probably be in the middle of the night for you. Most likely, I'll be on every weekday morning next week at 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and then most of the weekday afternoons at 2:30 again. But I'm gonna yeah, it's 1 a.m. for you. Yeah, so I mean it'll be earlier than right now that I'll post that most likely, but like last week I put it out late. So yeah, it's that is late. So anyways, with that, okay, you're in Germany. It's that's like 8 9 hours ahead. 13 8 hours ahead. Yeah, that is a thing. So, with that, I hope that you all have a great rest of your Friday, or in your case, I guess it's Saturday, and a great weekend. And I will see you all next time. Bye.